blinkers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Great to know. Yeah.
Can I add a little bit? It is actually interesting to say feelers or things like that. However, if you, I think language can be divided into two types. Number one, it's an economical language. And then the second one would be a non-economical language. And English is actually a non-economical language. And a natural feature of speech would include fillers. So sometimes we need to learn phrases like, well,
right.
Well,
yeah, things like that. And actually,
But
there are
natural
a
speech.
much broader, range of fillers. So sometimes if you plan to teach your students in band 6 to 7, you might want to research a little bit about fillers and then incorporate that into your student's speech as well. And it adds to CC.
all right. Thank you, everyone. Does anyone have what? Okay. Or what can I say? Oh, that is a filler. I said, is it a filler?
Yeah,
What
in many
can I say?
cases, it can be
What
a
can I say? Yeah, what can I say? It's
I
a
thought he
filler.
was
It is
asking
definitely.
questions.
I was like, what are you talking about?
So what can I say can also be a fillers. Okay. Does anyone else has any questions or if you need any clarification? All right. So the tab is here for your reference. Again, I will play a recording for you to listen to. So this is an examinee, and I think he is from Saudi. Something.
Saudi Arabia, you mean?
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah. So he will. This recording unfortunately doesn't have the examiner's questions. So I will also show you the transcript over here for you to understand what he is being asked. All right, it will the recording only plays his answer only.
Okay.
And I will play speaking part 2 and part 3 for you. All right, so can you please turn to the comments here and then find your name.
Oh.
Find your name here at the end. Okay, so Ngân is here. Thank you. Vũ, you can join as well. Please join. The link is in the Zoom chat. Okay, Mr. Minh is here. Miss Wing is
Confirm your
here.
attendance, everyone. Confirm your attendance. When you're there, just click OK, then we know.
Okay, Mr. Ran is here. Jake is here. How about you, Mr. Khôi? I think you should, you had better get a new laptop or something.
FYI, he's just bought a new one.
Oh.
Oh, is it because of the internet connection, Mr. Khôi? So you had to buy a new one?
Oh, I wish. Where's Mr.
But the
Khôi?
internet connection is so bad. So bad.
So you bought a new laptop.
Are you here, Wen? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm finally back. I got disconnected.
Okay. Hello. All right, please go to the tab here, comments. Okay, and please, everyone, please listen and give your comments and also give a mark for fluency and coherence only. All right, so everyone is here except for Mr. Khôi.
Can you send the audio to him so he can actually listen alone as well?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, isn't he? Yeah. Saudi meal. So the recording and also the transcript are given in the group as well. So I will play the recording for you to listen. Share sound. So are you ready, everyone?
Yes.
All right. So let's listen.
My food every time.
Okay, so it starts from here.
To be honest with you, I don't like that video games or electronic games at all.
Can you hear it clearly, everyone?
No.
It's a little bit low.
Yeah, I have put everything. I have put the volume to maximum already.
Wow. That's
Yes.
funny because your voice is even louder than his.
Well, don't worry. I will use another one. Yeah. I think this one will be better.
Vietnamese female.
Okay, I am Jamie, and now
Is this one better? Is this one better?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Yes.
you. So I will.
because when I roll off until now, I usually eat that food, so that's in my habit. At the, because at that time that game not popular wasn't sorry. That game wasn't popular
Okay, so I found
in
it.
my country. When I was a child, and I see I play that's the game. That's the Vietnamese game in the video game. Actually, I don't like to play game.
All right, so it's here, everyone. So it's here. Can you see that, everyone? Can you see the transcript?
Well,
Yeah.
before we are listening.
I thought we we just listened and find
Yeah.
out.
Well,
Because
because the recording only has her answer only. We cannot know the topic or the question from the examiner. So that's why
Oh.
I will need to show you the transcripts for you to understand what she is being asked.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Please go on. It's okay.
All right.
Game, but I remember I played the game. That's the Vietnamese game in the video game. When I was a child, hey, when I was a child, and I see I played that game in the shop, not at home. At the because at that time that game not popular wasn't sorry that game wasn't popular in my country. But just some shop they open and the children can come to play this game. How I felt it was easy to control. Some buttons on the video game, and I feel happy when I played that game. Happy when I play that game, and maybe because this is when I was a child, I don't have a lot of choice to play, and I see that game it was more perfect to me. Because the computer, the children can study some the pictures on the computer, and or maybe they can watch the clip or video on the on the computer and make them more interesting in the lessons. Because now computer technology is very popular in the world, so that why you need to how to use the computer, and that is very easy to you when you grow up and you work in the company. I think that that the children when they use the computer, they should be controlled from the adult, such as parents or teacher. They just allowed to use 1 hour or 2 hours a day, not keep them whole during the day to use. The teacher can use the computer to show the PowerPoint or some the picture or of some video in front of the class, and the student can see it and more understand the lesson than they just listen to the teacher. 50%. Because in the past, the teacher always teach the children by listening. Right now, they need to the computer to help to see watching, but I thought that this is maybe 50%.
Okay, I think we can just stop here.
Okay.
All right, please finalize your comments and also maybe give a mark for fluency and coherence. Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ủa Hải Khôi không vô được luôn hả mọi người? Hello? Sao Khôi?
Yes, we just comment on F and C. I think her part 2 was really bad, but her part 3 are actually answers are actually better. Or maybe because we just look at we have the script, but if we don't have the script, I don't think I can understand. This is so not English.
Okay, you just need to do the first 2 part on the comments and the marking only.
Okay, just
so
1
I
and 2,
think
right?
Mr. Minh, Mr. Đức Anh, and Trick have finished. Okay.
Mr. An says 6. Let me take a look at the. Hello, Khôi. Welcome back.
So
Okay,
I
Khôi.
think- phải không?
Đúng rồi, thầy nãy bị nhắn. Hello.
Sorry mọi người nha, cái máy của Khôi nó đã tự động tắt, cho nên không phải đổi qua cái máy mới, cho nên nó hơi mất thời gian tí xíu.
Why didn't you use a new one in the first place?
Yes.
Thì ý là cả cái máy cũ nó xài được thì xài thôi, trời ơi khổ ghê.
Thôi bây giờ thầy bảo quản đi thầy, rồi sau dịch thì mình đem đi.
Cái máy nó mới sửa hôm bữa, tình nó hư hôm thứ 5 rồi, sửa hôm thứ 7 rồi mà nó vẫn điên thì nó cũng hư phần cứng luôn rồi, cho nên là.
Ủa rồi anh có backup chưa?
Backup tạm, nhưng mà chắc là để mở lại chép, tại vì còn một cái folder chưa có tóm qua kịp.
Rồi, so.
Okay,
All
so
right.
a 5, a 6. Everyone else, if you have finished, please click enter and also give her the mark. I'll say 5, 5, 5.
I haven't finished. Please wait. Yes.
Okay.
I wrote on another paper. I need to.
All right. Okay. Just focus on her fluency and coherence only.
I know.
Okay. We are waiting for Vũ as well. Okay.
Or maybe,
everyone, you
maybe
can
Vũ, yeah, okay.
well, everyone, you can check her your colleagues common as well.
Yes.
She paused. Mhm. Mm. Mhm.
Do you have
Sorry.
do you send the script as well?
Okay. The link in the chat. Yeah,
Okay.
Trời ơi,
the link is in the chat.
nó tự
Everyone.
đổi thành ngày nữa chứ. Ai,
So this is task one. No, this is
Just
interview number
give
one.
a number only. This week a number. Okay. So everyone says 5. Mr. Đức Anh says 6.
Can I give her 4? I want to give her
I
4.
was I think from 4 to 5, you know, because that's what I wrote 4 and then 5.
It's not entirely 4 for me, but it's not really 5 either. It's like in between, but I would
But
be part of higher
yeah,
score.
But we have to
no,
round down.
I'm not sure. We if we can like to put 4.5 for each, you know, criterion.
No,
we
we can't.
can't do that,
We
right?
can do that.
We can't do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So that's why I was like 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay, 5.
Okay, so let's check your comments. So Mr. Min says problem with the pronunciation.
And here,
Unfinished
sorry.
sentences.
And can you help send back the Google Sheets, please? Because when I access it this.
Here, in the chat, Mr. Phone. I think
No,
you
I
should
mean the yeah, that's the one.
in the chat. Okay, so a lot of you say more noticeable pauses, limited use of linkers, self-corrections, repetition of words, self-correction a lot of fillers, slow rate of speech, pauses, repetition, poor pronunciation. Part 3 ideas were more diverse and there was a progression. Okay, less pauses, a lot of self-corrections. So you all have the same idea, I think. Slow rate of speech, hesitation, long pauses, and basic connectives. But only Mr. Đức Anh gives a 6. Can you clarify why you want to give her a 6?
Okay, should have seen that coming when I stood down. Okay, well, I think her biggest problem is more like her pronunciation. So in terms of fluency and coherence, I actually thought that, she actually did better towards the end of the test. And she actually had a few ideas and she managed to link them together using in some ways. So that's what I think that, all right, it just might be at a 6, but if you combine, all of the other criteria together, the pronunciation might be 4, and this might go down to a 5.
Okay. So, okay.
Okay, yeah.
How about the others? Why don't you think that she deserves a 6?
Because I can see that she's trying to provide a lot of information, but then I cannot, like some of that, I cannot make sense of it. And then we also have slow speech. I think it's unnecessarily low. So I think it should be 5.
Yeah, and then for 6, one may lose coherence because of the occasional repetition. But for band 5, you can see that she used repetition because of her flow speech is not very fluent. It's not because she used a repetition that caused a lose of coherence. You get what I mean? It's like she loses coherence. If a person loses a coherence, because of their repetition. That is band 6, but in this case, she tries to maintain the flow of speech and she use the repetition because she needs time. Maybe she doesn't have enough vocabulary, and she also have self-correction. And because of that self-correction, she can keep her speech going. And that I think that's why I chose band 5.
Maybe
Okay.
5 is a safe one.
How are the others like Trí and Nâng?
I want to add that to gain a band 6, you need some sort of diverse score markers, and I don't see that in her speech. So yeah, that limits her band to 5 for me only. Actually, I did think of giving her a band 4, but she did so much better in the part 3. Part 3. So yeah, I choose to give her 5.
Okay. Would you like to see her actual score?
Yes,
Hey.
definitely.
Okay. So this the recording is actually taken from the training course. So this is her. So for fluency and coherence, she has a band 5. She is able to maintain the flow of speech, although it is slow for most of the time. But she uses hesitation and repetition and self-correction a lot. There is some loss of coherence when she tries to give long speech. For example, the last one that we listened to, and she can use the scores marker accurately, but quite basics ones, like because and so and I think. So that's why she has a band 5.
I also think she would get like band 4.5 overall.
The weird thing is that I don't for this one I don't know why it is 4.5, although for the breakdown she has like 5 for the breakdown. Yeah, but this with the pronunciation limit she has a 4.5.
So for example, when you have like 5, 5, 5, 4, then it means you get a 4.5. So just if someone gets a bit stricter with one criterion, then this person will be one band below.
Okay.
The audio will be checked twice, right? Like will be examined twice.
Yes.
It depends on the gap between the different skills. If there is a two band gap, then maybe there will be a second checker. But if we only have one band, you will only get remarked if you issue an appeal.
Really? That could make a very big difference.
So what if you were her teacher? So how in like what way or what step should she do? Should she do in order to increase her fluency and coherence band score?
Okay, wait. There are many things
Lucy
to
say
do.
improve her pronunciation first. So that is for her pronunciation, but how about fluency and coherence? Like how she can she boost her fluency and coherence score?
I think pronunciation has some sort of effect on fluency and coherence as well.
That's true.
I mean, she doesn't have to get every single word right, but it has to make sense and understandable most of the time. I cannot even listen to the word store.
True.
How can I score properly if I cannot understand?
Everyone, can I ask a question? Do you have you ever met a student like this before? Like in real life, do you have one similar one? Mr. Anh say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we have this.
Yes, I think we have all met one.
Okay, yeah. So we have a real problem here. We need to find a way to solve this.
So like, can you share some of your experience in order how to help this kind of student?
I remember back in the day, I gave her the questions a week ahead, and then I told her you need to prepare everything at home. So when she got to class, most of the time I was allowing her to read aloud, but she has to read it properly. Yeah, in the way that's most of the pronunciation is correct. I mean, it doesn't teach her to improvise ideas, but the part when I make her prepare things at home already help her with, expanding her ideas and maintaining speech and things like that. So when she learned with me, most of the time it's about refining and remembering the pronunciation. Of course, not useful for improvising.
So prepare ideas at home, and then in class, you will focus on pronunciation.
Yes.
Okay. How are the others? Everyone, do you have any strategy, or Mr. Min agree and he would do the same? Do you teach her any kind of cohesive devices, more cohesive devices?
Mr. Duran actually
Yes.
talked about that one.
Yes, I mean the cohesive devices are, easy to remember. She just have to use it. Sometimes it's used mechanically, but it works. It takes around 1 or 2 weeks for them to get used to using them all the time, the devices.
I'm actually thinking about the samples now, everyone. So I think that instead of asking the students to come up with their own ideas, that may be hard, and sometimes it's not really logical the way they think about the answers too. So I'm thinking about like actually having a sample, and we can actually have some sort of activities like like fill in the gaps where they get to fill in the like cohesive devices that make sense. Okay, so we could start from something something basic like so, but then we can give them a hint that she could use some more advanced words like as a result or touch. Okay, and so I think it takes time to actually upgrade her vocabulary. No, more like her discourse markers.
Yes,
Assemble
that's
my
true.
help. Assemble my help.
Very good. Very nice.
Miss Wing?
Actually, Mr. Min, I has like hints me and I think of something new. I don't know, I just want to share. So I think we can like, if we have a recording like this, we can send it to our students and maybe provide a kind of sample, like a transcript based on that audio, and then put in some blanks and ask them to listen and fill in the words. Of course, they cannot fill in because it's really hard to listen to that audio. And so we can tell that. So that's how we feel as an examiner when you produce a speech like that. And then we can provide a second audio and then ask them to listen again and compare between the two, so that they can pay some kind of attention to how they can produce a more not comprehensive, but like a more what can I use, like easier to listen to and easier to understand for the listener. A flat. What is a flat?
A flag is kind of like a slang, like when you have something new, you want to Show off.
Yeah, it just pop. I mean, when I listened to the and it just popped into my head. So it's like we can have a comparison to let them have a kind of comprehension. No comparison. Sorry. I
Yeah.
need to take a nap.
Okay.
This afternoon. Yeah, breathe into the ear. So
Yeah.
something like that. So that they can know what they should do in the real task and what they can improve. That's what I think right now.
Mm.
Have you ever used this in the class? Okay, Lucy actually say something.
Work together and brainstorm idea in the group, in the class, and at home they will prepare the talk and do the task alone in the next lesson. Huh. Lucy, can you just turn on your mic? Okay.
All right. There is one big problem with Lucy's method. What do you think, guys? What do you think the problem can be?
The first one or the
Can we
second
just
one?
have some time to read first?
Yeah, just read.
Which one? Wait, in the scenario of 5 more students or a smaller class size?
Both. They share the same problem. What do you think is the problem?
Ask them to work together. Might use the events in a group.
Brainstorm. Oh, so that's for a task, like speaking part 2, you mean? Present in a group.
Like doing a presentation?
Okay. Present in a group. And then they can do the task, the same task at home alone.
So do they present in the same group that they brainstorm, or do you switch group?
I think that would be in the same group, yeah? At the same group.
Same group.
Keep students
So
alone.
if they in, oh sorry.
Work together.
What do you think can be the problem?
For the group of 2 or 3 students in the class, so you let them speak for 2 minutes at first, and then you did not check anything. So what can be the purpose of this one? The first purpose of the first round of speaking for 2 minutes without any correction. They cannot realize the problem, I think.
If you use this one to build up their confidence, then it's fine, I think. But if you want them to realize their problems, I'm not sure. Because normally, if I write an essay, I cannot realize my own, mistake. I cannot recognize. They did.
One problem with this is the role of the teacher and the scope of the task. So Lucy usually worked with students from band 4 to 5, which means B1. So at that level, it is very difficult for them to ask them to actually produce full sample of speech. And I actually don't encourage full production, like for both speaking and writing, So there is a lack of the role of the teacher along the way. So if you look at the first example of 5 students, they get to brainstorm ideas and present the idea in group. So the teacher would actually provide feedback on the meaning, on the ideas themselves, which is great. However, there is no mechanical practice for fluency. And similarly for the second one, you give 1 minute to prepare and then speak in 2 minutes. Then this is definitely not something that I even did when I taught in 6 and 7 for speaking. They definitely need more time. 5 minutes, 1 minute is not enough. I tend not to simulate the exam pressure. I do use that once in a while. However, during training, there should be more depth, I think. And when you provide a lower level student with a task like this, it is very difficult for them to not to be under pressure, and they might be scared. They might be discouraged. That can be a problem as well. So what I suggest is you can actually provide some mechanical training. For example, you can use back chaining task, where you can practice, improve both pronunciation and fluency at the same time. Have you ever used back chaining in your classroom? Can somebody explain the mechanism of the task?
I kind of remember back chaining technique, but I unfortunately don't use it much.
Well, back chaining is actually helped. Sometimes you also have to use that with advanced learners, but for advanced learners, it's purely pronunciation. But for lower levels, that does build sentential fluency. They will be able to produce a sentence more coherently after a while, like a few times of practice. So think
Is
about
that like when you start with the last part of the sentence and then we're gonna build up back to the beginning?
Yes, that's true. But if we want to go with fluency, then we do back chaining first round, and then they can actually flow, reverse the flow, and then go with the whole sentence. So you add a longer version then. This one help with something called, yes, we definitely have to ask the students to read out loud.
If they want to do back chaining, they have to read out loud.
Yeah, but not all of them. You can actually ask a few of them to practice one by one. And back chaining help with this one, everyone. Formulaic sequences.
That horrible word, formulaic sequence.
Yeah, so if they can focus on formulaic sequences like collocation, idioms,
fixed phrase,
words, yeah, fixed phrases, then there we go. They automatically get the fluency. They don't really have to force, like they don't have to synthesize the words using Vietnamese language. Right? So formulaic sequences, fixed phrases. If they produce fixed phrases, that helps. Okay. Anyway, guys, can I show you
you want to share
Lucy? Yes, that's true, Lucy. We can actually ask students to read out loud some sentences to practice fluency and coherence. And remember, I really want to go with micro teaching over here. So you don't really need to ask them to work on the whole sample. You might want to go with 2 sentences only, and then you can actually see the effects that you have on the remaining production. Okay, so I just want to share one activity. Feel free to give feedback, and you can tell me whether you want to use the same task either for speaking or writing. Okay, so last week I actually worked with a student from Australia. She initially targeted band 8 for speaking. And
She
then her
was
level was
7 for
like,
writing.
and then so after she met me once, she reduced that to 7. Anyway, so the way we do it would be like this. Of course, this is not the full task. This is a post-task activity. So the full task is when the main task is when she's presented with some questions, and then I play the recording where she will have to listen, just like what we did previously. But then we do a sample analysis. So I found that Jamboard was perfect for this task. So technically, I put it here. I put the sample here, and then I asked. Yeah, no, I mean like you can see that the sample, and then I asked her to identify a number of things or things that makes this sample so great. So for example, this one, I actually asked her to look for phrases that normally go together and that are instantly available to her. She doesn't have to synthesize the words to express the same idea. And then after that, I introduced the concept of formulaic sequences to her. And then she highlight things like this. This is called an awareness. Sorry, I will introduce or remind you guys of some technical terms. So if you want to do research on that, you can actually do that one more time. So awareness raising task. Have you ever heard of this one? Mọi người có biết cái task này không? Have you ever encountered this word?
Not really.
Like to raise to get the student notice something.
Yes. So to get the students notice something only without asking them to produce. So this is the first step of turning noticing into production. So I asked her to look at the formulaic sequences in hope that during the time that she read multiple times, she would actually pick up phrases and then can use that immediately after a few encounters. So this one is to recognize formulaic sequences. This one is I asked her to look at the grammar criterion and see which grammar structures would help. She used a different task, a different color. And then I actually introduced the concept of economical language to her, where there can be, when there is no redundancy. However, English is not an economical language, so you need to look for fillers like, as you can imagine, or I've been told something, things that don't actually contribute to the meaning of the conversation, but you know, it makes things natural. And then this course markers. And finally, where she are allowed to talk about text organization. So when you write an essay, you have a written text. When we speak, we have a spoken text. So either way, we have texts to work on, all right? And then here, we try to identify the flow between the general and specific relationship in the sample. So this is something that I want to show you guys what I did last week. It would be great if you can give me some ideas so that I can actually improve my task. What do you think? We can apply this one to teaching, definitely, yes. True. And we can create different Jamboards, and then we can let one student control one board, and then we can actually check. All right. So can I have some opinion? Like, do you think that I did properly, or do you think how would you, I mean, apply that into your context? How would you change it? Does it fit your personality? Let's talk to G then. Where
Let's
is G?
think. I think
Yes. Well, well, thank you for such an interesting activity. All right.
Mm.
Maybe what I would do different is that instead of using what could I say same the same way to do with tasks like highlighting, we could do something like gap fills for maybe for participle clauses. I think just to switch up the task instead of just underlining like this. It would spike up something like the fun or something.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely provide a bit more engagement, but then much more preparation as well.
For sure. Right. But thank you.
This time you don't have to prepare. So how about would you use this task? Do you think it fits with your teaching style?
All right, so for the arguments, evidence, and fillers, they're quite easy to spot. But for formula, how do you say it?
Formulaic sequence.
Like
For formulaic sequences, I mean, for students who are of very low levels, I think it's hard to grasp this idea for them. You know,
That's true.
it's not. To me, it's really hard for them to visualize how they can use in other situations when they are not exposed to a lot of situations at a low level. So I believe this is more of like a 4.5 and above things. For class about 4 or 3 or 4, I don't think that I can use formulaic sequences.
Well, then you can just introduce them to the concept of collocation then.
Oh yeah,
I think maybe when you can choose another easier sample with more familiar phrases to them. So maybe we can choose some better one. We can adapt this one, or maybe we can rewrite this a little bit to make it simpler. And when they encounter more familiar phrases, maybe that can help them to have some basic ideas in mind. What can be constituted as a formulaic expressions? Or maybe if you don't want to use that phrase, it's okay. We don't need to use that. We can use more familiar terms to them. So just say that they go together, and you have to, just try to recognize them, and maybe you can use them later. And that's it. We don't need to use that formulaic sequences.
Yeah. Oh, so one thing, this student right here with this kind of sample, what is her level?
She targets 7, and she finished her bachelor in Australia. So
all right.
Yeah, if you want to adapt, you have to adapt.
All right.
Just use shorter tags. You don't have to use this. Maybe, I mean, if I deal with a larger class, you don't have to go for the whole sample. I mean, you can just cut it into half and then just use the first part for that, and then you can use the lower half for a different activity.
All right. Right.
Oh yeah. I also want to counter argue Pete when he talks about maybe he would go with gap fill. One element of gap fill is it doesn't involve the use of color and the use of highlighting. And a gap fill task would be something that we normally do previously. But now with online, with a lot of tools of visualization, highlighting can be a key things. I mean, some students like highlighting. So that's something
Actually,
you need to, yeah.
the color codes can be kind of fun when I look at
yes.
into the colors.
Yes, Lucy, you can start writing. Lucy wanted to say something.
Okay, so I have one question to ask. So when you have a class of more than 5 students, for example, then some students may join the activity. They may ever some students they when they can't be the first person to highlight the.
I see what your problem is.
So they will avoid doing the task. So do they learn from the task when they ignore it?
You don't have to let all of them work on the same task, Lucy. You can actually
You can allocate them to different tasks.
Yeah, they have different paths here, so they just work alone. Or if they ever attempt to look at their friend's work, they can actually turn to this one. But because this is an individual one, and if they focus on the task, they might not know that what their friends are doing. But even if they do that, and then they try to repeat in their text, they still learn something, although the level of acquisition might be lower.
Okay, then after the task, we will confirm, right? Okay, so I think it's good. Yeah, it's an interesting.
You have to give feedback for sure.
Yeah, you have to, have a quality control stage at the end. But as a team, you as the controller of the game, of the activity, you can look at this one and you can see whether they are actually working on it, especially with the colors.
Well, I love the colors. Well, that's fine.
Well, I would give this one for what is it? Oh, I forgot the name. Google Slides. Yeah.
Google Slides is also okay, but Win saying something.
Yeah, I think for lower level classes, we can turn this into some kind of a competitive game. What's simpler, a more simple sample, and then we can ask them, like, each student with different colors, and then they have to highlight if they can finish with, like, if they can find the most words, they win or something like that. 1 word, 1 point. And of course, we should only pay attention to one target language at a time. And then, of course, to give feedback after the task, after the game, or maybe even ask them to explain.
Very nice. Yes.
So that's why I think.
So in a larger classroom, you might want to go with competition, but this one is actually 2 to 1, so I cannot do anything with that. I cannot compete with that.
I think maybe for the higher level class, we can also change it into some kinds of collaborative tasks. So maybe we can ask them to do 5 things. So they have to find 5 participle clause, for example, and then they have to move to the next slide to find another 5 discourse markers. Okay, and actually that can be nice too if we put them in pairs and ask them to do things like that. So they can try to finish what their partner has done and try to look for something new instead. But maybe that can be for the higher level because they have more to discover.
Okay. Oh, we have a presentation here. Okay, so
you can put this. Put this as a matching task as well. For example,
I was thinking about that.
If you want to teach some vocabulary here, so you can give the meaning here, assign the color for each meaning, and ask them to find and then highlight in the text in the sample.
Or I use one as a bamboo game already.
There's a name for it. It's like some Palmanism.
Yeah, I don't remember the name yet. Yeah, I remember Miss Wing already mentioned the term, but I forgot.
Yes, that I
Humanism.
was looking for that.
Humanism.
Okay, so that's it for my sharing.
Speaking of game, there's a new app coming. It's called Plucket. I think Miss Wing has already used that. So you can actually use this one for different kinds of games. So you can
design.
I forgot, a set of questions, and then there are lots of modes for you to play as well.
Young
And-
Cham love this, especially Koi.
So there
He
are
wants to. Sorry, Jane. Sorry.
Go Miss Wing. Something who
No,
likes it?
because Koi in the Young Cham class, he's really love the crypto hack, but I haven't tried that one. It's like I think he'll answer the question and then put in some kind of code, and then he can get some kind of money. Crypto
So
hack.
can we customize these activities?
You
I
have
use
a
this one
set
to
of
teach vocab.
questions.
Yeah,
I haven't tried
only
it
one
yet.
set of question. You can choose different mode to play.
Yes.
And
Okay.
it's like you can play 2 or 3 games with the same type of question in the same class, period.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
I have played this one only racing. I think this one is one of the most basic mode here. So when they answer many questions in a row, they can have some power-ups that can stop their friends from getting more points. And the one who has like 30 questions correctly in a row can can win, for example. You can actually check out these modes on YouTube. Yes, I think this one is nice. My students also love this one. And
Okay.
it's cute. Deal with bamboo.
And what wall as well?
Species
What
anymore.
wall?
We have so many games. We need to create. We might need to have like a special training. Like a session for games. We need to try all the games. Even the gathering.
Gather Town. I think
Yeah.
Gather Town can be for our upcoming events. Maybe if you have a Halloween night or Christmas night.
We do have Halloween. Halloween is coming in October. So prepare for that.
Speaking of
Gather Town will be
games,
fun.
I've heard that there's a training for gamification in teaching this Sunday, organized by Teach for Vietnam. If anyone is interested, like that just pop up in my mind.
Or maybe you can just attend and then you can report.
Maybe. Yep.
Oh, well, can you send us the link?
Yeah,
Sure. I'll search for the link and I'll send it in the group chat.
I also received a post by RMIT, Teacher Talks from RMIT. Yeah, but this one is not really relevant to you guys. It's about quality management of English language centers, online delivery and teacher professional development. So it's more managerial things, not a teaching part then. Okay. So I guess that's it for today. Thank you for joining.
All right, everyone. See you next Tuesday next week. We will return with writing. Sorry?
At 2, right?
Yes, at 2.
Huh?
We never say at 3.
2.
Okay. At 2, yes. So see you everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Hope you can apply the new strategies you learned today. Or maybe you revised today.
Okay.
Bye
bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.